Net Game Radio. Shoutcast, music show, lemon party.
What?
Alright, welcome back, gamers. You're watching another Net Game Radio homecast. My name is Triumphant Man, and joining me in the studio is Hospitaler as another guest caster. But tonight we have...
G'day.
Oh, yes, it's Hospitaler, just jump in there. But we have Who's Bad versus 4GONDOR in a Cyber Game SemiFinals match on the Cyber Game Open ladder. We do get Pandemonium first banned by Barbecue. Of course, nobody wants Blue Bear playing Pandemonium. Corrupt Disciple also getting banned by Spot the Aussie. We did see Fu play a very nasty Corrupt Disciple in the mid lane against... who was it? Who were they against? I can't remember, but it was last week's match. They're up against Hellbringer also getting banned. But I'm just going to throw over to Hospitaler. Have you got any predictions for the night as to a team you favour here?
Ooh, very hard to call. I think these teams are very evenly matched, and we're going to see a much closer game than we saw last week.
Indeed, although on the forums I have noticed the support has been very, very one-sided in 4GONDOR's favour. So not very much love being given to the Who's Bad, as they've asked me to pronounce their name. So yeah, not getting a whole lot of love over there, but just if you're watching in 360p, I will call out the players' names. We're playing for Who's Bad is Spot the Aussie, RM, Halion, Blue Bear, and Skies. Playing for 4GONDOR on the Hellborn side is Barbecue, King Magnus, Fu, JJ, and Kid. Continuing the bans, then we also get Vindicator banned. Spot the Aussie banning Vindicator. They said they were going to ban Vindicator regardless of whether or not they were going to get the Pandemonium pick, just because they don't like playing against Vindicator full stop. They find him to be an incredibly irritating hero. But the Chipperal also gets banned by Barbecue, so we're still waiting on the last, I think, 3 bans to happen here. Hellbringer also being banned. I don't really see him banned all that much. I see him picked every now and then, but really not banned a whole lot, so a bit of an interesting choice. Also don't see... Also getting Pharaoh banned. Pharaoh, fairly average pick, fairly stock standard ban. We do see him banned every now and then, do see him picked every now and then, although I haven't seen him personally in a little bit. Slither also getting banned. I guess they're worried about the 1v1, so they're very nasty. You can get Slither into 1v1 lane and completely destroy this, destroy any sort of solo that sits in there. However, I believe, Hoss, you had some predictions on where the players are going to go on 4GONDOR's end, so did you want to call them out?
Yes, JJ, their dark green player, I know plays an okay, or a decent at least, solo side lane. You also can play a mid. Fu, I also believe, plays mid for them as well, so we can definitely expect one of those two to be taking at least a solo lane. And as for the bans, they seem to be a mix of standard bans plus some researched bans, like that Panda and that Corrupted Disciple ban, with also the common bans like Hellbringer and Pharaoh, which is good to see research coming out from these two teams, going back and watching other teams' replays, etc.
Spot the Aussie banning Switchblade there, of course. Pharaoh being banned, so you don't really like having the Switchblade around if you have the Pharaoh banned off the board, especially seeing as they don't have first pick either. Its first pick is in 4GONDOR's court, and they use it to pick up bubbles. Very, very decent, very stock standard pickup. Also should mention that the teams have agreed to have a gentleman's ban on Tremble, Nomad, and Silhouette, which is unfortunate because I wanted to see one of them play. To be honest, we haven't seen them absolutely anywhere, really. Although I hear Nomad has been seeing some action in the International In-House League. But Who's Bad picking up Thunderbringer? They were mentioning picking this up. They decided they wanted to pick up Thunderbringer, although they were also considering letting the enemy team pick it up and just picking up some kind of wombo combo. But it looks like they have opted to take that Thunderbringer pick. They also select Wretched Hag, so they have got a lot of nuki firepower there. Definitely a whole lot of damage they could dish out in a few seconds. So 4GONDOR need to watch out if they're going to pick a squishy lineup, because that could be really nasty. Anyway, Thunderbringer and Wretched Hag, so it looks like they've got their solos sorted out. We'll probably see TB take the mid solo lane and then have Hag solo a side lane. Whether or not she'll be up against a tri-lane remains to be seen. Now, I can't remember if I've seen 4GONDOR run a Torture. No, I think it was Surefire Gaming who kept running the Torture in the tri-lane, but we might see 4GONDOR do the same thing here. They are picking up Valkyrie here. Definitely a decent pick. But I'm wondering if they're going... I'm not too sure about this. We appear to have a few solo heroes here that are going to be fighting for that farm. Although I do remember 4GONDOR were talking to me. Actually, I think it was Fu was telling me how they do prefer a pushy lineup. So maybe they're going for Torturer in the tri-lane and having him just trying to get him farmed up as a semi-carry. And because he does do a run in there if you can get him in there with his stun, because basically in a trial you want those you want pretty much every hero to have a really good slow or a nice AoE stun, because you can really wreck the enemy team. If you can just land chain stun after chain stun, the nukes can just wear them down quite easily. So we may see 4GONDOR play this pushy lineup because they told me they do favour a push lineup, and really Torture, and especially since we've had, a buff to the pushing strats, since the towers now get disarmed every time someone tries to port in on them. So it definitely could be interesting to see how they go with this. But Witchslayer, the Pimp Slayer being picked up by Haley, and Blue Bear being swapped over to Thunderbringer, and of course Spot the Aussie. It looks like Spot the Aussie will be playing the support Myrmidon. We do see him play that quite a lot. So a fairly stock standard lineup on Who's Bad side. Just waiting for them to pick up a carry, I think. Which they may or may not give to Blue Bear. But yeah, did you want to throw something in there, Hoss?
Yeah, usually you do see teams round off with a hard carry, always picking him last. But we have seen both teams pick their solo semi-carries as their first or second picks, with their supports coming afterwards, which I guess can be expected, seeing as they didn't actually ban any of the supports. So their drafts aren't, you could say they aren't dependent on their supports.
You're just cutting out there a little bit, Hoss. So might just want to check the old internet connection. But you do have a very good point. It is wise to pick that carry last, because you don't want to pick a carry and then have it counter pick by something like we did see Who's Bad versus One Day Clan. They did pick up Zephyr and then had Predator picked against him, and that just went all downhill from there. Blue Bear just destroying everybody with his Predator. And the last pick on Who's Bad is indeed Predator again. Blue Bear being swapped that Predator, so I did think that was coming. So we do have Predator again being played by Blue Bear. However, we do have an interesting lineup here. Now we do get Pyromancer and Magnus being selected for 4GONDOR. So this is definitely interesting. Now, Torturer can do the whole pushing business now. They have Valkyrie in the side lane and then have Bubbles solo mid. But I just wonder what they're going to... I really don't think Pyromancer was the best idea if they are going for this whole trial thing, although I suppose it will add a lot of firepower. But really, Pyromancer does want a few levels. I think they could have picked a couple of other heroes they could have picked up instead. To be honest, I'm not dead sure if the Pyromancer was the best picks. I mean, they could have picked up something like Hammerstorm, would have had that massive AoE stun, which would have been great, as well as, he's useful on the push and stuff, can fire up the Galvanize to armor up the creeps, as well as being good against, just being able to dish out that damage to the tower as well. And if you've got Torture in this trial, and really you don't need the one of the supports can throw down and be a melee, and of course the melees tend to have superior stuns to the ranged heroes. So I'm still not dead sure whether or not this Pyromancer was the best pick here, but we do have a pause coming, so we might use the opportunity just to speculate on the lineups. I'm going to throw it to you, Hoss, first. Which one of these lineups do you prefer, just based on the heroes alone?
Hopefully I'm not lagging anymore, but I actually prefer the Hellborn lineup, mainly because the Legion have picked up a Predator. And Predator specializes in taking down enemy carries or enemy heroes who have large HP pools. And on the Hellborn team, we see heroes who have very small HP pools in general. Probably only Torture is the only one through items who's able to get a large HP pool. And that sort of nullifies Predator's power a lot. I saw, I think it was Sky's right-click Dark Lady, which would have been a much better hard carry pickup to be able to silence and blind all the enemy spellcasters, because every single Hellborn hero is a spellcaster, and a silence from Dark Lady's blades would be able to really turn the tide of a team battle. I just don't see this Predator pick having too much of a team battle presence.
You do have a good point. On the other hand, I do worry about the Legion because, like you said, the Hellborn team, because, like you said, they are quite. They don't have a whole lot of large HP pools between them, apart from Torture, if you can get farmed up. On the other hand, at the same time, they do have the Legion do have a whole bunch of nuking firepower at their command. And yes, Hoss, I am reading you loud and clear. Your internet seems to have fixed itself. But I mean, between Hag and Thunderbringer and Witchslayer, I kind of do worry about the the Hellborn side, because they are going to rely a lot on early pushes, and basically if they go to push and then Thunderbringer and Hag just go bam, you're down one or two heroes because we just ace them with nukes, and then Witchslayer helps them out cleaning up some of those heroes. They are going to have a bit of trouble. Because like these guys, they do need to push. They really do need to push. And you've got such early game firepower available between Hag and Thunderbringer. I do think that may slow them down just a bit. Because if they don't push, they are going to be in a world of hurt because they have got no backup carry. That does worry me. If they did have some kind of backup carry, then yeah, they would be in a much better position, I agree. But I really do worry about the lack of the carry and about early game firepower that they do pack. Like Predator, of course, doesn't really have much to offer in the early game. But then, you've got Hag, Witchslayer, and Thunderbringer who do have all of that damage that they can offer. So, I really do worry. And like you said, Hellborn, they don't have that tanking. They just don't have anybody who can stand up against that firepower. I do believe they will fold quite quickly against it. But I don't know, do you have anything you want to say in response to that?
Valkyrie, Pyro, Torturer, and Magnus heading into the Legion jungle, trying to maybe scout out the enemy tri-lane. Get a kill on Hag maybe, if one of them have a ward. And Magnus does have a ward, they're going to do the good old throw a ward over the forest to pick off this Hag when she comes through. We got to see if Hag has the reaction time and skills to evade this stun. That'll probably be coming out from Magnus first, followed by Torturer and Pyro, with a Valk arrow coming up later.
Christ! Sorry about that. Sorry, I do forget sometimes when I'm casting because I come through, I record myself automatically. I was forgetting to hold down my push to talk. So obviously you didn't hear my question. I just said a whole bunch of stuff, actually. I said, basically, I worry about the Hellborn team. They don't have, like you said, they don't have much staying power. A lot of them, they're quite squishy. So basically, between Hag, Thunderbringer, and Witchslayer, while Predators have nothing to offer, those guys do, and they could stop them from pushing early, and they don't have a backup carry, which does worry me. I don't know, does that change your mind at all, or you still set with the Hellborn team?
Oh, yeah. As long as the Hellborn team don't sit back and farm, as long as they keep pushing their side, the enemy side of the map, they will do fine and they'll have the advantage. As we have Hag being initiated on our bot.
Indeed, she just gets stunned by Lava Surge. Then nobody follows up with anything there, so that a bit of a gaff it seems. I think Valkyrie was possibly blocked off by creep. She couldn't get that arrow line up to see. She has taken a bit of damage from the creep, so unfortunately Pyro didn't step in fast enough. But this is interesting. It's a Valkyrie tri-lane, so they are going to try and use her semi-carry potential to carry this. And they're going to have Torturer in the middle lane, just going to try and get him level. So I guess that's fair enough. Get Torturer levels, get him leveled up, because if he can get some levels, he can push hard. That's fair enough, I guess. Although Magnus looks like he is roaming quite early. Looks like he's going to try, as well as Pyroman's also roaming quite early. They're going to leave this Valkyrie to solo bottom, and it looks like they're going to try and step up the pressure quickly, make sure Skies can't get anywhere with Thunderbringer. A very wise move on their behalf. Shut down the Thunderbringer early because he will cause them a world of pain if they let him get out of control. It looks like they are just going to camp there for a bit. And I think Thunderbringer is aware that something's up because he is not pushing up at all. He is quite worried about his safety. He's hanging back there in tower range. So good awareness for him. I'm guessing who's down the bottom there. Aram just called that one out for him. But indeed, he is being forced to hang back here. So Thunderbringer is being unleveled, but at the same time, they're going to have both Magnus and Pyro under level. But I think it will pay off for them. Having Thunderbringer on level will be quite beneficial. But just looking at the top lane, it looks like Bubbles is having a little bit of a rough time. Is having to hang back here. Looks like he's just going to try and pull. They haven't really bothered to take control of his jungle, so he's going to be able to use it. Now Magnus moving up again. He has thrown out a counter ward. I guess he is worried about Thunderbringer knowing he's there. Thunderbringer has managed to level up. Has managed to get in experience range just a little bit. Looks like Magnus and Pyro might be getting a little bored here. They're pacing back and forth. They're just worried about it. I think Thunderbringer just checked. He just picked up a double damage from top. Good work from him. Interesting choice. He has picked up Blast of Lightning early rather than picking up Lightning Rod. So I don't know about that. Honestly, I go for the Chain Lightning, then the Aura, just because a level 1 Blast of Lightning doesn't do squat anyway. So you might as well get that early harassment with the Aura, the Lightning Rod. But we do have Magnus and Pyromancer getting bored, heading back to bottom. Hag just chilling here. Just chilling quite a bit. She's fairly worried by looks, but not really pressing up. Looks like she is getting a little bit of CSS, but they have spotted. I believe they might have spotted Myrmidon and Witchslayer, the Pimp Slayer, heading towards
that's their own ward, but that's very possible that Bubbles did see that.
Yeah, I think Bubbles might have spotted him while he was pulling. I saw a bunch of pinging happening there, but it looks like maybe that happened because Torture is all the way pushed up here. He's getting nuked by Thunderbringer, and look at this. The anal is happening. Gets hit by Graveyard, gets hit by Wheatfield, and he is a whole lot of trouble. Gets the empowerment off, gets the chain reaction off, but in the end just gets drilled. Absolutely drilled. So I'm guessing Bubbles didn't spot it because, you know, there's no way if he saw that coming or had somebody call that out, he would have stayed there. Anyway, we still have Pyromancer and Magma, still level 1, still just chilling in the woods here, just waiting to get stuck in. But it looks like Who's Bad taking an early advantage here. Going to try and take this one home. Torture reporting back out the mid, still ahead of Thunderbringer, who is still level 3, having been pushed back so early. But it looks like these supports are going to clash here. They have spotted each other up, but of course Myrmidon and Witchslayer have the advantage here. But Myrmidon needs to come back and support Witchslayer in case he gets jumped in. No, he has managed to get out of the way. Although at the same time, Barbecue pawns Skies' head. Where was that? Was the mid lane? That was Thunderbringer getting dropped there. So good recovery from Barbecue. But Valkyrie also stepping off into the jungle there, just trying to help out her two supports, although they didn't manage to catch anything from it. Looks like they are rotating the tri lane to bottom. They're going to leave Bluebear to solo against Bubbles, and he should be okay to manage this. Bluebear is a relatively strong player, so he should be able to handle this now that he's been given a little bit of an early advantage. As well as seeing Bubbles doesn't really have any support here. But now Thunderbringer bottling, no bottle. Yes, he does have a bottle. So he's bottled and invisibility. Down the bottom we have action here. Kid getting jumped on by the Wheatfield. They do get the Lava Surge off as well as a stun from Pyromancer. The Valkyrie landing a 5-second arrow on top of Hag. Hag going down here and Myrmidon trying to catch Pyromancer, not managing, landing the Magic Cup but not cleaning him up here. The Monkey coming into danger, although nothing happening for that. Pyromancer being chased by Thunderbringer, getting nuked down by Thunderbringer. And now I'm just seeing if Thunderbringer might be in a little bit of trouble here. Magnus is coming up. Does he have enough research? No, not quite enough. Yes, he has enough now. Valkyrie being chased by Thunderbringer. Witchslayer also in there. Can he get the Graveyard off? Misses. No, he doesn't. He lands it there, but Thunderbringer doesn't have enough mana to follow that one up on. And in the end, Magnus landing a Lava Surge. Are they going to clean him up? Another Lightning Blast. One more auto attack. Can they land it? No, Magnus hiding in there. Managing to sneak away into the bushes. Very close, Hoss. Very close indeed, but good play from the Hellborn team. They did manage to land those chain stuns nice and effectively, and they cleaned up Wretched Hag, which definitely want to get those solos down. Wretched Hag has gone for a 3 levels in Scream, 1 in Haunt, 1 in Flash. Of course, the community being a little split on how to build that, but I'm just going to take another look at the top lane at the moment. We do have Bluebear on 32-9, while Bubbles is stuck on, what is Bubbles on? 7-1, so Bluebear definitely handling this top lane quite easily, so just watch him deny creep after creep. But it looks like Hag has rotated to the mid lane. They have decided Thunderbringer is going to go bottom now. Interesting choice here, Hoss, is it not?
Very interesting. Thunderbringer got the early levels from mid, and now when he rotates to bottom lane, he'll be able to unleash some good damage on the under-leveled supports of Pyro and Magnus, and hopefully do some mass damage and get some kills.
I guess they've also decided that really Hag is better suited to avoiding Torturer's ability. She can just blink out of there if she gets in trouble. Can't get run down by Impalement, which actually no. Looks like Torturer is not bothering to level that. He has gone for 3 in his stun and 3 in Agonizing Bonds. And it looks like they are hell-bent on killing Hag right now. They have been spotted up by Ward though. So he is probably going to stay out of the way there. As we see Torturer, yes, come in for the stun, but Hag just blinking away there. No chance at all. These guys have been seen coming from a long way away. But now Witchslayer may be in a little bit of trouble with Magnus can't catch. Witchslayer does have his boots. Magnus and Pyro, no boots on them, so he's not going to be able to get run down there. They might catch Myrmidon though. Myrmidon has got 1 level in Wheatfield and 1 level in Wheatfield and Magikarp, so he doesn't have the escape ability, and he is about to get angled here. He has got the Pyro-Mag combo. Of course, the Pyro-Mag combo, the infinite pub lane build that we haven't seen in a long time, just because dual lanes don't really get all the attention that they used to. Of course, tri-lanes being so crazy. But looks like we do have a pause at the moment here. Skies is asking for a 15-minute pause. Okay, that's oh dear. That could be bad news for Who's Bad. That could be bad news indeed. But while we're here, let's just have a look at the GPMs at the moment. Bluebear is up to 285 at 6 minutes in, so not doing too bad. Bubbles stuck on 150, so not doing so hot there. Valkyrie is on 259. She's doing alright with 1 assist there. Torturer on 255 as well. So looks like Skies though playing Thunderbringer is a little bit behind, 196 GPM. Of course, getting ganked early and of course being forced to hang back quite a bit, just by that Magnus Pyro sitting behind him the whole time, just really pissing him off. So that's unfortunate for him. But definitely, I think Spot the Aussie may be in a little bit of trouble here. But I'm just going to throw back over to you, Hoss. At the moment, any predictions, any outcomes and predictions based on how the game is flowing at the moment?
Ooh, at the top lane, we see the favour slowly swinging towards Bubbles due to his range. Predator was able to keep up lane dominance for a few minutes after his supports left, but Bubbles has sort of started to take it over. Once Bubbles starts to get a few more levels, he'll be able to teleport out and go and help the tri lane or wherever the enemy supports are roaming to, mid or bot. And if this Bubbles can really burst out and make a huge impact, we should see Hellborn's pushing strat come into effect. But at the moment, Legion is moving around the map better and shutting down the Hellborn much better than the Hellborn is shutting down the Legion. So if the Legion can keep that up and keep the Legion on their side of the river, their Predator should get farmed up enough to be able to carry this game to a victory. It all really depends on the semi-carries and the supports at this point.
Anyway, so here we go. Anyway, gamers, we are back live. And here we see at the bottom, Spot the Aussie completely and utterly buggered as we were talking about, just getting chain stunned into oblivion. There we go, nuked down and destroyed. We did see that coming for the last 15 minutes while we were paused, but we are back live now. It looks like he needed that early level, really needed to get that waveform happening, or just not be caught out quite so far. But Aram has managed to hit level 6 with Hag, so maybe we might see a bit of nuking happening from him. Thunderbringer still level 4 though, so he is quite badly underleveled at the moment. Really needs to catch up on that to really start unleashing all sorts of hell on the Hellborn team. Pyromancer and the Magnus again camping behind the trees, just trying to set up another kill here. They've managed to come through with a couple of kills in that location. Valkyrie just taking a few hits here. She has picked up a steam boots, also gone for a Ring of the Teacher. Has just opened up that tree. They're just trying to open it up for Pyro to walk out through though. I think she might... No, it's nighttime. She wouldn't have been
And we have a gank closing in on Bubbles at top, with Witchslayer coming in from mid.
Good eyes, Hoss, as we do know. Bubbles backing off and Witch not getting in there in time. Instead, Witch walking into a creep wave and now tanking a bunch of damage from the creep. So, bit of a misplay there. But again, Pyro Mag roaming around, two best buddies here, just roaming around looking for more kills, although they managed to block themselves with that lovely, lovely pathing. They have been spotted up by Aussie's ward though, so... Looks like Thunderbringer knows that they're coming up behind him, though he's not doing much about it. He's looking a little brave here. Maybe he didn't see it. I swear to God, he should have seen this coming. Needs to get the hell out of there. He is in a little bit of trouble if Magnus pushes in. Definitely no, he's going to be okay here unless Val can land an arrow, though it's not. No, definitely not. Not gonna, oh, he walked back into it. That's a bit of a mistake there. Bit too cocky, and he is going to go down here. No, wait, yes we go. Last auto attack brings him down. Unfortunate skies.
That's the classic. That's classic. The support stop attacking the enemy hero to allow the carry to get the kill, and then the other guy just walks away. Huge misplays can happen due to that.
Indeed.
But luckily that Valkyrie picked up on it and got the last hit.
Up in the top lane though, Blue Bear getting taken out during this gank on Bubbles and Torturer, going pear-shaped, and really they need to get the hell out of there because otherwise we're going to see Torturer destroy them. And we do see Torturer ruin their day, getting a hat-trick there, completely tearing them to shreds. So really they should have got the hell out of there once Blue Bear went down. Really, if your supports if you're underleveled, if your carry goes down, just get the fuck out of there. You don't want to be there, especially against the mid player who's got two sets of nukes too. He actually maxed both chain reaction and agonizing bonds, does a ton of damage. Definitely don't want to be anywhere near him with your low HP pools, because things like that will happen. Triple kills will happen. Diva! And I just missed that one up in the top lane.
This is good play coming out by what the fuck's oh my god Barbecue, who is just absolutely mowing this top lane down.
Indeed. Now Predator trying to cake out Bubbles, although getting stopped here by another chain reaction stun. Not really going to be able to do a whole lot. Stone hides up. Really, they're going to be way behind that tower before he can do anything about it. Again, Magnus and Pyro just chilling in the mid lane now, just trying to pick up some mid levels, maybe just trying to farm up some boots as well, just to get on things. Aussie now in the jungle, doing a bit of stacking at the moment. Only manages to stack that one camp though. But now Pyro and Mag, best buddies here, Roman top. Looks like they're going to find a haste rune. Are they going to use it though is the question. Magnus now picking up this haste rune, although he's getting a little bit ahead of Pyro hitting. We see him just doubling back. That looks like they've realized the creep wave is pushing up. They're not going to be able to do anything much with it. So Pyro and Magnus just wandering around. I think they should head back to mid, try and gank this mid guy because Torture is there. They can really set something up for him if they get stuck in there. They've got the chain stuns to ruin Hag. Hag really needs to get stuck in. She's got her ult up. She's got a nuke. So they really need to get on top of this Torture and to take him down, or he's going to ruin everybody's day. But I see Monkey coming out with items. Just some more wards for Pyromancer here. Now, Witchslayer now roaming back towards me. Witchslayer has picked up 1 level in Power Drain, 1 level in Miniaturization. Not sure about the early level in the Power Drain. Doesn't really do a whole lot and really isn't doing a whole lot of roaming really to make it all that useful, to be honest. I think he should have just gone for an extra level in Miniaturization. Although it's not the end of the world, he does have at least that second disabled. But it looks like he's going to walk into trouble. He's going to wander into Pyromancer. He is going to get taken out here, I think. Gets stunned by Love Surge. Gets hit by the Dragon Wave, and down he goes. Nice and easy. No chance at all. Definitely did not like walking into that at all. Down on the bottom lane, just...
On that, I think that Witchslayer's walked into done that misplay, walked into that game because Legion actually have no wards on the map at all.
This is a good point. They haven't got any wards up at all, and they do take that mid tower. Barbecue has finally picked up empowerment, so we might see some pushing happening for him now. Just looking at the gold totals at the moment, they do the Hellborn do have a 3,600 experience lead and a 5,400 gold lead. Now, this is definitely a situation they want to be in because they have gone for a very pushy team, so they want to get ahead, get an early advantage, and get ahead as early as possible. Magnus and Pyro again roaming bottom. Magnus has picked up boots, which is good because he's going to be initiating these ganks with his Lava Surge. Looks like we could see Thunderbringer in a fair bit of trouble. They have been spotted up though, so maybe no. We do see the Wheatfield catching both of them. Thunderbringer might be making a misplay here though, walking into that Lava Surge, getting chain stunned by Valkyrie's arrow and the Dragonfire, and now Predator leaping in. Pyromancer getting dropped by Predator there. Actually, no. Yes, it was Bluebear. Bluebear took him out. So trade for trade, but unfortunately Pyromancer was an under-leveled support hero, so definitely not a good trade because they do need Skies to get as many levels and as much money as possible because they want to be able to have the firepower that Thunderbringer offers to drive these guys back and make sure they can't take them. But again, looks like they're giving away a free tower at top. Torturer now just brazenly tanking the tower. He does have a regeneration rune in his bottle, so he should be able to do that with no problems. And it looks like they are going to take this early advantage. They have pushed the mid tower, have pushed the top tower. But at the same time, it looks like the Legion are opting to trade towers, although there is mass porting coming to that middle tower here. The Valkyrie arrow coming in. Will it hit Myrmidon? Yes, it does. Nice strike there. Bubbles blinking in now, getting hit by a stun. But in the end, Myrmidon getting taken out, the Hag ult coming out. Now Bubbles looks like he might go down to Predator. Going down to the poison from Hag's ult. Hag getting dropped though as well. Now Torturer coming in. Getting another hat-trick. This Torturer Barbecue on fire, taking this game out to the max. He is definitely dominating this match. And really, the Legion can't catch a break at this point in time. They unfortunately got behind. They do have a lot of nuking firepower at their disposal, but unfortunately they don't have the levels to put it to work, and they haven't really had the time to put it to work. Hag, that's the first time she's got her ult off. Thunderbringer hasn't even fired his ult all match, I don't think. He's just been chain stunned into oblivion. And this stage, and in this case, he really didn't get a chance to really fight while his teammates were getting obliterated there. But Magnus has picked up Striders now, has Pyromancer picked up, and yeah, Pyromancer also has managed enough to Siskel to pick up this pick up some Striders as well. Hag doesn't quite manage to take out Valkyrie, gets hit by those stuns, though, getting chain stun, gets nuked into oblivion. Spot the Aussie charging and trying to save it, but not getting there in time. Bluebear trying to follow up now with a lead. He is going after Torturer. Will Torturer port? He has picked. Torturer has an Acolyte start, a 14-minute Acolyte start. That is huge, and now we might see Bluebear in a little bit of trouble if he gets caught out here. Magnus going and gets that sort of bubble silencing and shell saving and a chain stun from Torturer. Just dropping Bluebear, getting destroyed. Definitely gets caught out there. Bit of a misplay, getting blocked by the creeps, hanging around there too long, and definitely things are going south for the Legion team, are they not, Hoss?
They are. We are seeing Hellborn's pushing strat come into real effect here after all their heroes past level 6 all have their ultimates, and they're all using their ultimates to great effect. We're seeing Torturer coming in using his mass AoE to wreak havoc in these team fights. He just churns any lane he's in and then pushes the tower down subsequently, as we're seeing right now.
Indeed.
And a team fight about to emerge most likely.
I don't know, they really don't have the firepower to take these guys. The Legion team really don't. And now Myrmidon going to get caught out here, gets the Wheatfield off, gets the Magic Carp off, the Bubble silencing Myrmidon. He does manage to dodge the Pyromancer stun. Witchslayer stunning, nice stun. Now Waveforming out of there, Magnus stunning Hag though. Bubbles is Kelfield, Witchslayer minimizing Bubbles, managing to kill, actually, no, the Kid was managed to take out a double kill there, I think. Let me have a look
And Myrmidon walks out of that forest.
Amazing. Myrmidon getting out of there alive. Is he going to die to the creep though? Wow, 8 HP. He does go down to the...
No.
Oh dear, that's embarrassing. That's a little embarrassing. And we do get a 15-minute concede, so I guess that does smart a little bit. But we are going to go into a second match, and oddly enough, you know, the pause time and the match time are equal. Damn. Anyway, so this is Who's Bad versus 4GONDOR. First match in the Cybergamer semi-finals, the Cybergamer Open Ladder semi-finals. My name is Triveman. Joining me has been Hospitality. We will be back shortly with Game 2. Until then, stay tuned.